ducking, dodging. You got to look both ways before you cross the street. Everybody's taking shots at us, Caitlyn Clark fans, the Chicago Sky vloggers, the content creators, the Angel Reese content creators are firing at us nonstop. We got to keep our head on a swivel, y'all. We got to keep our head on a swivel. Stephanie White's a bum and needs to be fired. That's what's going on. Did y'all see the interviews today? Sophie Cunningham just exposed Stephanie White. Flat out exposed her.
Sophie Cunningham just flipped the script like a season finale cliffhanger, defending Caitlyn Clark while dragging Stephanie White's coaching strategy like it owed her money. With one fiery comment, she exposed the dysfunction everyone's been whispering about: bad rotations, wasted talent, and a system so broken it makes a group project look organized. This wasn't just support, it was a full-blown takedown with attitude, receipts, and that unmistakable try-me energy. Suddenly, the WNBA feels less like a league and more like a drama-filled reality show, except the drama's real and the stakes are sky-high.
Stephanie White, in her post-game interview, confirms the team looks the best when the ball is in Caitlyn's hands, when she is the main decision maker, and everything revolves around her. Yet for some strange reason in the Valkyries game yesterday, after witnessing that in real time, Stephanie White decides to change things up, slow the things down, take Caitlyn out the game, and she complains that the team suddenly loses focus.
The fans aren't showing up for textbook plays or perfectly executed motion offense. They're showing up for Caitlyn Clark. She is the system. You could swap her teammates for folding chairs and fever jerseys and the arena would still be packed. It's not about the X's and O's. It's about the logo threes, the no-look dimes, and the electricity she brings every time she steps on the court. Let's be real. The jersey sold, the chants, the crowds, that's all Caitlyn.
Sophie Cunningham went on the record to basically say what I've been saying and everyone else. Give the damn ball to Caitlyn. Whatever offense we running right now, it is not working. You have to give the ball to Caitlyn and let Caitlyn do what Caitlyn has to do. Now, we done seen this formation time and time again. Now, I know some people might want to say Caitlyn Clark was off the ball somewhere at Iowa. She was a little bit in years past.
This isn't just a team sport. It's a one-woman spectacle orbiting around a generational talent. It's basketball as Broadway, and Caitlyn Clark is the star, the scriptwriter, and the usher showing you to your seat. Enter Sophie Cunningham, equal parts hooper, heat check machine, and walking microphone stand. She doesn't come with a filter, and thank goodness, because in a league full of silence, Sophie showed up with surround sound.
It's a rough time being an Indiana Fever fan right now. Things is getting real crucial. It's real serious. We're almost 20 games into the season, and we are below 500. This is embarrassing. I would have, at the beginning of the season, I would have bet you my last breath. I would have bet my life, my house, everything, that there was a 0% chance that we would be under 500 19 games into the season. This is crazy.
Sophie Cunningham didn't show up to play politics. She showed up with a verbal sledgehammer and zero chill. She's not gunning for a cozy league office gig, and she's definitely not tailoring her takes for the positive vibes only brigade. When Sophie speaks, it's raw, unfiltered, and sharp enough to slice drywall. People don't flinch because she's loud. They flinch because she's right. Ask Sophie a question and you won't get a polite answer. You'll get a flamethrower monologue laced with truth, attitude, and just enough sarcasm to make PR reps break into a cold sweat.
To watch a 19-point loss, Caitlyn Clark's return, in which, since this is a lady we're talking about, it looks like Stephanie White has spaded Caitlyn Clark, for lack of a better way of putting it. If it was a dude, I'd say neutered, but, you get my point. She has taken away Caitlyn Clark's greatest asset which is the creator and instigator of offense.
She has that rare quality of genuinely believing what she says and speaking it out loud, which today's media-trained athletes often avoid. In an era where players whisper platitudes and stick to sanitized talking points, her honesty is like skydiving without a parachute. Bold, fearless, and full of confidence. Naturally, some delicate souls were thrown off when she shared her 2 cents, more like $200 0 cents worth, on which cities should get WNBA expansion team. Gasp. A player with opinions? About the league? In front of microphones? How dare she shake up the echo chamber of beige interviews and pre-approved sound bites? She wasn't playing the typical league politics game. She rolled the dice, threw the board, and openly said the game was rigged from the start. That's part of her charm. Sophie isn't looking to win Miss Congeniality. She's focused on winning basketball games and maybe waking a few people up along the way. She's the type who would point out that the emperor isn't just naked, he's also trying to coach from the stands with a flip phone. When Sophie defends Caitlyn, it's not for show. It's not PR spin. It's because she sees what basketball IQ above sea level recognizes. Caitlyn is the system, and everyone else is fumbling the user manual. There's no reason Caitlyn should be playing as if she's being punished for inventing the three-point line. The only thing more awkward than her current usage is watching referees try to explain a technical foul without breaking into interpretive dance.
In the post-practice interviews, had this to say.
I think that everyone saw that. We kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game, and so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know.
We had some flow, but when Caitlyn's here, we need to play a different style because she's that great. That is what Sophie Cunningham just said.
Instead of building the offense around the once-in-a-generation talent, there's an active effort to integrate her, as if her presence is an inconvenience that requires bureaucratic approval. She's not a supporting player or a developmental project. She's the blueprint, the main event, the explosive finale before the gym lights go out. Sophie doesn't have time for coded language or playing along with outdated legacy coaching hierarchies, pretending it's 1997. She sees a star being deliberately dimmed and says, "Nope, not on my watch." The moment she stepped forward, the atmosphere shifted. Suddenly, people were checking if they could still breathe as the air was sucked out by the truth she dropped. You could feel the passive-aggressive tension mounting across coaching circles nationally. And let's not ignore what really irks people. It's that Sophie makes them uncomfortable. Not because she's rude or disrespectful, but because she's unfiltered in a league still obsessed with filter. She'll say aloud what everyone whispers in private chats. She questions decisions others dismiss as strategic. And she calls out coaching adjustments that look more like confused yoga poses than solid basketball plays.
Years pass, but when Caitlyn Clark has become the Caitlyn Clark we loved and we've grown to see, Caitlyn Clark has the ball in her damn hands, bro. Caitlyn Clark has the ball in her hands, and she said verbatim herself that they run a read and react offense. You know what that is? The ball's in Caitlyn's hands. Now, there has been a large speculation that Caitlyn Clark pretty much wants to go to New York and play with Sandy Bernardello and the gang.
Behind all the buzzwords and elaborate game plans, the core issue is this. The Fever had the keys to a Ferrari and chose to use it for a quick grocery run. Caitlyn's talent is being squandered like weak Wi-Fi in a remote forest. You don't draft a once-in-a-generation player to have her stand in the corner while someone else runs a post-up that results in a missed layup, prompting a collective sigh from the crowd. You let her cook, you step aside, pass the spatula, and watch her brilliance unfold. Yet somehow, Sophie's the controversial one for speaking this out loud. Not the coaching staff. Not the offensive scheme that looks like it was scribbled on a napkin during turbulence. Not the decision makers who continue to treat elite shooters like casual role players. No, it's Sophie, with her bold statements and refusal to pretend the Emperor's robes are real. And while we're at it, let's also address the overblown reactions from fans who treat every strong opinion like a federal indictment. You'd think Sophie launched a missile at league headquarters the way some responded to her city expansion ideas. All she did was express a preference, and suddenly half the timeline was demanding an apology, as if she insulted their grandmother's cooking. It's expansion, not the Hunger Games.
Birds. I don't care about the rest of what she has to say. It's gonna sound good, I'm sure. It's gonna be her refusing to take accountability, I'm sure. It's going to be her putting the onus on the players, I'm sure. Not owning up to her, I'm sure. But what she said right there, other than 2 5-minute spurts, the team lost focus, didn't pay attention to detail, so on and so forth. That is her not realizing that she's accountable for what transpired.
What Sophie understands, and what many refuse to face, is that this league only reaches its full potential when the product is truly compelling. Right now, the excitement ignites when Caitlyn has the ball in her hands, not when she's sidelined for long stretches, seemingly benched by questionable coaching decisions. No one is tuning in to watch outdated sets that mix up motion with actual progress. No one wants offensive possessions that look more like group therapy sessions, lacking clarity and purpose. Fans come for the fireworks, deep threes, and the confidence that makes even opponents acknowledge her greatness. That's the Caitlyn effect. That's the system. And Sophie? She's the one brave enough to say what everyone already knows but is afraid to admit: the truth. She's unshaken by backlash, unconcerned with PR spin. She's willing to take the heat, call out the nonsense, and do it with a smile. Because sometimes, the truth needs a voice, and a little attitude. And just when things seem to get even more intense, Sophie Cunningham drops that comment. Players on their own islands. Like this is a tropical cruise, not a professional basketball team. The WNBA has turned into Survivor Indiana Fever Edition, where trust is a myth, chemistry is folklore, and everyone's paddling solo while the boat slowly sinks.
I've never thought that I would be saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work. It's just not going to work.
And here's Sophie, wielding the megaphone and calling out what's been painfully obvious to anyone with 2 eyes and even a shred of basketball sense. The team isn't just disconnected, they seem allergic to cohesion altogether. It's like one big group project where no one wants to open the Google Doc, and Sophie's standing there saying, hey, maybe we should actually work together? But instead of fixing the issues, the powers that be keep spinning the wheel of, maybe this will click someday? Say, as if chemistry is some limited-time coupon that will appear out of nowhere. By the time a team hits 20 games, you're supposed to know your players inside out, not still be fumbling around like you drew names out of a raffle. This isn't preseason experimentation. It's a real, televised spectacle with actual tickets sold, real fans in the stands, and genuine expectations. Yet here we are, 2/3 into the season, and the head coach is still scribbling on a whiteboard like she's lost in her own maze, still figuring it out. At game 20? That's not strategy. The plays seem less like carefully designed actions and more like impromptu street performance art, chaotic and unpredictable, with no real plan in sight.
I like how she looks, but man, it's tough. It's tough to get that growing to 100%. But I like the mindset, thinking about her long term, right? Long term, and that's what matters the most. I know we are trying to push the Indiana Fever to win a championship right now this year. I know a lot of fans would love to see it, but at the end of the day, man, if Caitlyn Clark has to sit out for the rest of the year, would y'all be able to accept that? Would that be something you can live with? You know what I'm saying? Not saying she has to or anything like that. I'm just saying if that came about.
Meanwhile, Sophie is straightforward and unafraid to call things as they are. She's over-pretending, tired of tiptoeing around the glaring issues. Honestly, if the team feels disconnected, it's not a vibe problem. It's a leadership problem that's been brewing since the start. That island analogy wasn't just a passing comment. It was a clear diagnosis. The scorers aren't getting enough touches, defenders lack guidance, and rotations resemble someone solving Sudoku mid-slay. The disconnect is deafening, louder than the national anthem, and Sophie's the only one brave enough to speak up about it. Yet people act surprised when she's vocal, as if she hasn't been this way all season. As if honesty is some scandal rather than a necessity. She's not stirring trouble, she's simply describing what everyone's been seeing. The body language on court? Off. The spacing? Catastrophic. The substitutions? Like a roulette wheel spinning with a whistle attached. It's not that the team lacks talent. They have plenty. But talent without direction is chaos in sneakers. Chemistry isn't built by accident, and trust can't be forced. And yet, lineups keep shifting, like a DJ trying to save a dying dance floor, making it impossible to find rhythm or connection.
So today, lads, obviously there's going to be a lot of videos about Stephanie White, because we need to be honest here, Stephanie White's not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to stop until her style of drag everyone down to their level basketball prevails. She's not going to change. And I do not think that we're going to see very much of Stephanie White, or very much of the Fever playing good basketball under Stephanie White.
When Sophie speaks up, her words cut through the noise like a chainsaw at a poetry reading. She's not softly suggesting ideas. She's delivering blunt evaluations. And yes, it stings. Because the truth often does. Especially when it's been buried under layers of deflection, media spin, and post-game interviews so vague they could have been generated by AI trying to avoid legal trouble. What's the response from the sidelines? More ambiguity. More trust the process rhetoric, as if the process hasn't been a slow, frustrating slide into mid-season chaos. It's like watching someone refuse to read the instruction manual while building IKEA furniture, then blaming the screws for not fitting with the wooden panels. The figure-it-out excuse might work early on, maybe even by week 5. It's improvisational chaos, and even the league's star can't fix it when the stage is crumbling beneath her. Meanwhile, fans see Sophie as the only sane voice in a horror movie filled with bad decisions. She spots the ghosts in the basement, points them out, and everyone else is still like, let's split up and investigate separately. The reality is clear. This team's disjointed, and unless leadership acknowledges it, the chaos will only deepen.
Stephanie White yesterday reduced Caitlyn Clark to a role player. She turned a star into a role player like we've never seen before. While Tyler Marsh is trying to turn Angel Reese into a star, Stephanie White is trying to turn Caitlyn Clark into a role player. Let that sink in.
Of course, there's no real connection among the players. They haven't been given the space or trust to build it. Instead, they've been handed a system that doesn't exist, with expectations that are sky high and a coaching philosophy that reads like a random Mad Lib. The whole setup is a masterclass in confusion. She wants a system that respects talent, not one that buries it under passive-aggressive schemes and outdated strategy. Sophie isn't here to coddle egos or babysit broken game plans. She's here to win. And winning demands honesty, not hope wrapped in platitudes. It's ironic. The one person labeled too outspoken is the only one actually fighting for accountability. She refuses to accept mediocrity disguised as growth. Instead of waiting for things to magically click, she's demanding clarity, urgency, and reality, while others pretend everything's fine. Sophie's knocking over the prop table and asking why there's still no dress rehearsal. She's not settling for illusions. She's demanding the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it gets.
With Stephanie White under fire by Fever fans, she blasted her team after the squad's loss to the Golden State Valkyries, which was a rough watch. No question about it, as there is correct. But she's going to get criticism because of the mixing of the lineups and the way Caitlyn Clark was utilized, or the idea of playing Caitlyn Clark off the ball, which has been an on and off topic all season long.
The real insanity isn't Sophie's blunt commentary. It's that what she's saying still needs to be said at all. It's 20 games into the season, and the head coach still looks like she's waiting for a starter pack to arrive in the mail. They've played more games than there are letters in competence, yet the offense remains stagnant, with less flow than a broken water fountain. If Caitlyn Clark played for a different team, we'd be seeing highlight reels every night instead of therapy sessions. It's the stubborn refusal to admit something's broken, pretending duct tape and good vibes will keep it together. So no, Sophie isn't the villain here. She's the wake-up call. And if more players had her courage, maybe we wouldn't be discussing this in July while the playoff window slips away like a missed free throw. Maybe the system would finally reflect the talent it's been gifted. Until then, it's like island living, adrift, disconnected, with a coach's compass spinning wildly. And Sophie, once again, is voicing what everyone else is too afraid to admit, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, and still calling it a strategy. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.